Welcome to Halifax, Nova Scotia and Scotiabank Center for Game 2 of the 2018 National Basketball League Divisional Playoff. The Halifax Hurricanes and the Island Storm just about ready to tip off. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Game 2 of this 2018 National Basketball League Divisional Playoff. Along with Matt Elliott, Vince Williams on hand. The Canes entering this game trailing 0-1 and in a must-win situation. They struggled to find their offense in Game 1 and couldn't get the job done in the fourth quarter, Matt, where they almost came back and forced OT.
Yeah, they did. The problem was they were too far down. They had to dig themselves into too big of a hole at that point in the fourth quarter. I'm frankly quite amazed that they were able to get to as close as they were, shooting as poorly as they did throughout the entire game.
And the Island Storm, on the other hand, they did get the job done, earning the split that they wanted to accomplish in the first two games, stealing home court advantage. And this afternoon, a chance to really take a stranglehold on this series if they get the W.
That's right. With the series being the best 3 of 5, you lose another game, especially a home game going in, facing 2 games away in PEI against the Island Storm. Really, stranglehold is putting it lightly.
The Hurricanes can't afford to have one of those first quarters that and I haven't seen all season long here in 20 regular season games, where they just struggled to find their way offensively, shooting 26% from the field and only ended up with 12 points.
Yeah, and that's it. They went in, they finished that quarter down 13 points. And really, all the Island Storm had to do, you look at their numbers, they stayed pretty consistent throughout each quarter, with the exception of a really big third quarter that they had, which backed Halifax off. But all they had to do at that point was continue to play their game. They were up by so much, and Halifax was shooting so poorly that it was all on Halifax to come back.
So a big moment in this series for both teams. The Storm looking to get that stranglehold and go back to the East Link Center with the 2-0 lead. On the other hand, the Hurricanes desperately need to play a full 48 minutes, Matt.
They definitely do, which they did not. Obviously, last game, as you and I discussed before the game even started, generous to say they played even a full 24. So yeah, they need to have a full game here, and they need not only they need to win, but they need to set the tone. Because you got to think the Storm are probably going to be playing with a bit of chip on their shoulder right now after coming off a win like that against the best team with the best record in the league.
And they have struggled to find wins versus the Hurricanes as they went 6-1 in the regular season. Great defensive play there by Billy White, knocking it away from Anderson. So a good start defensively for the Hurricanes. Canes go with Clinkscales, White, Brown, Watson, and Mason. White now posting up on Osei, kick out the Clinkscales. That ball's quickly moved to Watson. Watson puts it up and in. That's a good start offensively for the Hurricanes. As great ball movement, Watson knocks down the jumper.
Yeah, they wanted to get off to a good start offensively, hit that first shot, get it out of the way. And Watson, man, he's really turned that into a weapon, that short-range jumper.
And for the Island Storm, Session gets the shot blocked there by Watson. They go with Osei, Anderson, and Hall, as well as Maxwell to round out the lineup. Knocked out of bounds and a stoppage in play. We have a foul on the call, and it looks like it's called on Clinkscales. Excuse me, Maxwell. That's on Maxwell. That's his first, team's first.
See the replay.
Yes, Antoine Mason getting to the rim, and you can see Mason looking to be aggressive offensively right off the start. Mason struggled a little bit in the early going in game number 1, but he did find his range in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he did. He had it, and he found his range when he started playing his game. I think he was trying to a little bit too much perimeter to start out. His game is really that tough, taking it to the rim like a running back, getting the fouls or getting the hoop.
And Mason completes the three-point play. Excuse me, 2. He hits 2 free throws, that is. Ended up with 35 points, Matt, and it was very impressive. Put back's good there by Maxwell as Hall missed the skyhook through the lane. And it's going to be interesting for the Island Storm. Once again, they are down a few men. Mason for 3, no good. Session with the rebound. Chris Johnson not available this afternoon. He's out. He suffered an injury late in the game in game number 1, a shoulder injury, so he's listed day-to-day. He was already nursing a torn ligament in his offhand, so not available is Chris Johnson, and he has some good numbers. Hall with the nice up and over.
Yeah, he sure did. He was the X factor for them, in my opinion, that game. He played 42 minutes, almost the whole game, had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, but he was hitting shots that were just daggers, that were morale killers, as I said, in the last broadcast.
He was 8 for 4 from the field, and he was good. Anderson, he knocks down the 3 ball. That's a good-looking shot there by Anderson.
Very nice.
Inserted into the starting lineup this afternoon. Tyler Scott not available as well. It looks like a moving screen called on Billy White. And the officials this afternoon, Ryan Lutz, Paul DeBailey, and the crew chief, Brent Stalker. Billy's first team's first. Jose trying to shake off that screen on his right shoulder, nursing it. He's shaking it, but he's still going to go here. Session for 3, and that almost went. Rebound by Brown. Great skills, back the other way. Mason now. Klink drives, left hand, switches to the right, can't get it to go. Rebound by Maxwell.
It was a nice take by Kingscales, just couldn't get the finish. Did a good job of getting some space for himself.
Maxwell, jumper, that rims in and out. Mason back the other way now. Kick out the Clinkscales, and he is left wide open from beyond the arc. They are not playing Clinkscales for that 3. Brown, that shot's blocked by Hall, but he gets it back and gets it off the window. Good defensive play by Hall, but Brown stayed with it. And Brown needs to get some quality minutes tonight, and he's got to be more aggressive offensively, and that's a good takedown there after the shot was blocked by Brown.
Yeah, definitely. They need someone that's going to counter a guy like Hall, who really played a really good game last game for the Storm, one of their better players in that one. So they need Brown to match that or better. Nice move by Mason.
Mason now, and he gets the teardrop to go, and Antoine is making an assertive effort to be very aggressive in the early going of this game.
Ooh.
Maxwell, he throws it away. I'm not sure who that was to, as Watson goes to the floor, and I'm not sure if he's tying his shoe. And yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
Gee.
I would think it'd be pretty hard to knock Matt Watson out of this game, or any game. He is built like a
solid
brick house.
Yeah, he's solid.
6'6" power forward from New Mexico State by way of Hamilton, Ontario. 1 point lead for the Hurricanes. Clinkscales to Watson, inside
nice
the Brown.
pass.
Brown pump fake, that's blocked from behind by Session, and Session will come back the other way. State's into the game now for the Storm. Anderson tried to use the screen by Hall. Hall's trying to post up White now. State's cutting without the basketball, and he's fouled going to the hoop. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2, and that's going to be matchups are going to be very important in this one here, no bigger than Hall versus White.
Yeah, for sure. White and Hall, they went at each other last game. White's got that great footwork. He's able to, we saw the last regular season game, he really abused Hall and Maxwell almost. I hate to say the word, but he really did quite well against them underneath. Couldn't find that last game, though, the first game of the series, and it really was Hall that won that matchup, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Hall had an outstanding game, 20 points and 9 rebounds, and he had the pivotal possession under 10 seconds to really seal the deal when he was able to spin on the baseline and finish.
Yep.
After being a 1-possession game.
Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin.
Anderson now. Carl once again trying to post up. Spin move, Brown, and Brown actually Hall with the walk. He's in full disagreement there. It's a good closeout by Brown.
Good defender, Brown, down low.
He has to be better than he was in game number 1 for sure, and a moving screen called on Brown. That's a tough call.
That's a really tough call.
Session runs shoulder to shoulder with
He sold
Ramel.
it. He sold it pretty good. I'll give him that. Let's see if we see a replay of it at all.
Storm with their first lead this afternoon. Osei now. Once again, head coach Tim Kendrick is saying get the ball inside the Hall, but Franklin Sheshin pulls back his arrow and knocks down the three.
Yes, he did. Got that quick release.
Devon Maxwell, from our broadcast here, is being assisted behind the Storm bench, and it looks like somewhere in maybe his left hand he's having some difficulties. So another man down, and let's hope that Maxwell's okay. And they can't afford any more injuries and any more lost man minutes, because Andre Stringer, who's put together a pretty good rookie season, was outstanding. He's not available as well, as he tore his Achilles in practice.
Yeah, they've had some unfortunate injuries to some of their better players of the Storm. Give them credit for playing as well as they have.
4-point lead for the Storm here. Hall once again trying to go to work inside, and he forces the foul on Brown. Carl Hall would go to the free throw line. Shoots at 57%, but you wouldn't know in game number 1. He went 10 for 12 from the charity stripe, man.
Yeah, he was fantastic, and that's, normally when you got a guy that shoots 57%, you feel pretty good about hacking him or sending him to the line. He was on his game in the first game of this one, as you said, 10 for 12. That's great free throw shooting for anybody.
As Ronaldo Dixon checks in for Brown. Brown's got 2, team's 4th. A timeout on the floor. And the National Basketball League of Canada handed out some hardware in between games number 1 and 2, and you can run down who exactly won those outstanding awards.
Well, and there's a few players, a few names you're going to sound familiar here to you folks, because they're playing in this game, did quite well. So most valuable player, first and foremost, Carl English. I don't think there was too much of a surprise there. Anyone who pays attention to the league, he had a fantastic season. Coach of the Year, Halifax's own Mike Leslie. He took that one. Rookie of the Year went to Jalen Tate, played for the Niagara River Lions. He averaged 13 points, 7.5 assists a game. This name will sound familiar to you. Defensive Player of the Year, Devon Maxwell, playing for the Island Storm. Great defensive player, we've said that before. Sixth man going to Halifax's very own Taquan Zimmerman. He was great off the bench for them, averaging just about 13 points a game and shooting at 41% clip for three-point land. They're by far their best three-point shooter. Franklin Session, newcomer of the year. He had a huge game for the Storm last time. Great player, a lot of energy all over the court. Top Canadian, no shocker, Carl English, also the MVP. And the executive of the year went to the St. John's Edge, Jeff Dunlap.
So that is the full list of major award winners for the National Basketball League of Canada, and the All-Stars, the first and second and third team, will follow. Congratulations to all the major winners, and they're all well-deserved.
For sure.
So States will step up now and go to the free throw line after some final words and instructions from head coach Tim Kendrick. It looks like the Defensive Player of the Year is getting his left hand taped up. It looks like Maxwell's having some difficulties there. Not sure what happened.
I didn't see it.
But nevertheless, it looks like he might give it a go and come back into this one. I'm not sure what the confusion is, as Carl Hall went down the runway and they were waiting for a Hall. I'm not sure if he went to the bathroom or he had to adjust his glasses, but Hall's stepping up now to shoot those free throws. It looked like States was going to take them, but they were waiting for Hall. That's why there was a holdup.
Yeah. Know what the story is there. He's back.
Carl makes the first.
Keeps it up.
Keeping that free throw streak alive. Man, numbers are really lying in regards to his percentage. He's got a good looking stroke. Same rhythm, same really result. Good, yeah. 2 for 2 for Carl Hall. Hall has 4 now. Clinkscales. Swung to Mason. Mason inside to White. White really needs to assert himself offensively.
Yeah, they need him big time in this game.
Watson, jumper, short, He gets the rebound. Great hustle by Watson. Second chance opportunity coming up.
It's particularly important for Billy to have a good game now, especially if Rummel Brown's going to be in foul trouble. He's already got 2 on himself, so Billy needs to step up and be that big.
And the Hurricanes not having the services of one of their good bigs as Watson throws it away. Some confusion between Mason and Clinkscales. CJ Washington not available. That's a double-double machine.
Yep.
And he's put up some huge numbers versus the Island Storm, and he's not available as he's done for the year. Jump shot from 3 is good by Anderson. He's 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. So Anderson showing some shooting touch from downtown. He's got 6, but Clinkscales answers right back. And how important is that 3-ball by Clinkscales, who's given him some confidence, because they are backing off and allowing Clinkscales to shoot that.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm kind of surprised that they are backing off now. I know he didn't have a great game. What a pass. I know he didn't
Shot is blocked at the rim by Hall.
He wasn't great offensively last game, but really all season long he's quietly been quite a good 3-point shooter for Halifax. I think he averaged like 38%, which is, that's not a bad 3-point percentage. You certainly don't want to be backing off and letting the guy with that percentage shoot.
He's had an outstanding games from shooting from that particular distance. In particular, there was one game on the road where they beat the St. John's Edge. He knocked down 5 straight threes in the third quarter.
Wow.
And it was the difference going down the stretch. Ronaldo tries his hand from downtown. That rattles in and out. Storm back the other way. Hall now trying to gain some space on Ronaldo. Hall gets his own rebound and he's fouled. And he'll go back to the free throw line.
The fouls on Billy White.
6-point game for the Storm. 4:20 remaining in the first quarter.
See the replay here. Gets a little bit of space. So no big deal there, just misses it, but I think you're gonna see Billy comes over with one and then kick, he missed it. He reached in with his right.
Hall gets that one to rattle down. 6'8" power forward from Wichita State, from Cochran, Georgia. And he rims out the second, so he's 3 for 4 now from the free throw line is Hall. He's got 5. Ronaldo short at the rim, and Session comes up with the rebound. Back the other way, they race. Hall back to Session, and Session finishes off the glass. Great touch and hands in transition by the big man, Carl Hall.
Yeah, really good. I wasn't expecting to push it back to Session.
9-point lead now for the Hurricanes, or the Storm, excuse me. Clinkscales looking for the screen from Ronaldo, doesn't use it. Ronaldo puts it up for 3, and that's short. Rebound by Osei. Osei gets bottled up. And the Storm will get into their half-court set here. Session back inside the Hall. Hall going to work, forces it up, but second chance coming up here by Osei. He gets the rebound, out to Session. Osei's got to look from downtown, and that's off the rim and off. Rebound by Watson. That was a good look from distance for Osei.
Yeah, he had a lot of big shots.
And Ronaldo's called for too many steps as Session steps up in the lane and forces that turnover.
Halifax offensive struggles are continuing so far.
All in this first quarter. Seems to be an Achilles heel, mind you, for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, well.
4 for 16 from the field so far. 25% with just over 3 minutes to go. Got to right the ship, the Hurricanes do, and try to keep this one close. Burdine now. Jumpers in and out. Rebound by Dixon, and Hurricanes come back the other way. Poole checking in for the first time. Poole had an outstanding game off the bench.
Did.
He provided that defensive spark. Hit some big threes down the stretch in the fourth quarter to get them within striking distance.
And he played some fantastic defense.
Oh, what a move and a pump fake. Wow. Jeez, Clinkscales just put the Harlem Globetrotters on Brad States as he gave him a pump fake, put the ball off the back of States. States looked, and then he put in the layup.
It's more of a hand one move.
Holy macro.
He's looking for that in the highlight reel.
Absolutely. However, 7-point lead for the Storm, and White He's fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line, and White's fired up here. They got to get White the ball. White's got to get some touches. If they're going to get into the half-court set, White's got to get some touches. Oh, wow, look at that move.
Poor Brad States.
Man, oh, man. Click, click. You have just been put on the highlight reel. Hate to, have Chuck. This is a serious game. I mean, it is the playoffs. But to pull that one out of your bag of tricks, you got to be pretty confident.
That was beautiful.
But he was in amongst the trees there, Clinkscales, and he really had nowhere to go. States just lost track of where the ball was.
He's got that bag of tricks, so does Clink. That hesitation that he uses a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And he pulled that one out. It's the first time I've seen that.
The Clinkscales freeze, man. It's a killer freeze.
It is.
It works pretty much every time. Sessionale blow by, and one, he counted.
Just flat out blew by him.
Man, Session quick to the cup, and no mistake with the reversal. Smart move by Franklin Session.
Yeah, he saw the space. Let's see if we see the replay on it. He just beat Clinkscales.
Clinkscales call for the reach. Man, oh man, he's quick.
He is.
That's 2 on Clinkscales. 6 team fouls on the Hurricanes. 2 minutes remaining here in the first. White kicked out the Clinkscales. Thought about it. Clinkscales for 3. That's no good. Rebound by Dixon. That's poked away and eventually stolen by States and into the open arms of Maxwell, who's checked back in with that left hand heavily bandaged. Maxwell, spin move, and that's too strong. Rebound by Ronaldo.
Interested to see how that hand affects Maxwell's play offensively. I doubt it'll hurt him too much defensively.
And a turnover in transition for the Hurricanes as Hall checks back and Anderson will go to the bench for the Storm.
But get back to what you were saying, Vince. They do have to get the ball into Billy White a lot more. They need his offense. White's got to get some
touches. White's definitely got to get some touches in this game. Averaged 18 points on the regular season, and he was dynamite in the 6 wins versus the Storm in that regular season.
Not only that, but you'll probably get a few more fouls on Carl Hall if you can get that work on the paint.
You got to make him work on the defensive end. You can't allow him to rest. Ronaldo with the 3 ball, no good. Fight for the rebound, gets it. 4th chance opportunity here coming up. White battling inside with States. Draws the contact, and he'll go to the line and shoot free throws.
Yeah, we'll
and
take
White's
that.
a pretty solid free throw shooter. Shoots it at 73%, so if you can get points from White and get him going and get his frame of mind offensively in a positive, trending positively,
that's right,
then you'll have him in the 3rd and the 4th quarter when it's really winning time.
That's right. He really got frustrated last game. I can't speak to his mental state or not, but that may have taken him out of the game mentally. Who knows? But he certainly was frustrated, and we didn't see the game that we're used to seeing from Billy. So off to a good start so far, though. And like I said, get it underneath to him. You're going to get fouls from guys.
And that's the important part. I mean, they're Storm already a few men down and a shortened bench. You got to really try to work the ball inside to your bigs and get those guys going. As White knocks down consecutive free throws. He's 4 for 4 now. He has 4. So all the points for White coming from the free throw line. Poole with the steal. Again. And that's no surprise. Mike Poole's been outstanding defensively. Poole for 3 now. Good look. Bang! And he knocks it down. Mike Poole. Man, if there's anybody that's the X factor in this series from both teams, it's Mike Poole.
Oh, yeah.
Session now tries his hand.
Mike Poole. Go ahead, Vince.
White now in transition. Clinkscales, they got numbers. Dixon steps into a 3, misses it. Poole races down the loose ball. Zimmerman now checking in for the first time. Poole once again blows by States off the window. Short though, and couldn't beat the gun. Try to beat the gun, but it's a 3-point deficit for the Hurricanes as they fought back in the last 2 minutes of this quarter when the lead was about 8 or 10 points for the Storm. So a moral victory for the Hurricanes, man.
Yeah, it has to be that they were able to close it out, bring it to within 3, holding the Island Storm to 23 points. So Halifax, they're still not shooting great, man. They're still only 6 of 23, 2 of 10 from three-point land, but their free throws, they're 6 for 6. So that's been huge for them right now, and that's what's keeping them in the game.
Both teams turning it over just about even there. 5 turnovers for the Storm, 4 for the Hurricanes. And the numbers pretty much even there. Total rebounds, though. And that was a factor, too, the rebounding game. Right now, the Hurricanes out-rebounding total, that is, by 6 for the Island Storm. And that's a thing that needs to trend up as well, because Storm has been outstanding. They're number 1 in rebounding in the league, and they're just up there amongst the league leaders in points per game at 106. So they rebound the basketball. So it's going to be important this afternoon for the Hurricanes to make sure that they limit the Storm to those one and dones and don't give them those second chance opportunities.
Yeah, big time. Halifax, was one of the other top teams in the league, either second or third in rebounds per game. Island Storm first. So both teams, are going to be going after it, no question. But last game, like you said, it just seemed like all the rebounds, all the bounces, everything was going in favor of the Island Storm. I don't know if Halifax just didn't have the juice or what, but that's one of the aspects that they really have to fix aside from shooting, is getting those hustle stats up, getting those second chances, and denying the other team those second chances.
So this is not the only game in the National Basketball League of Canada for the playoffs. 2 other games going on around the National Basketball League of Canada in the divisional playoffs, that is. And we're going to take a quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Swish LA.
All right, Vincent, St. John's at the start of the third quarter now. The St. John's Edge have a slight 53-50 lead over the Windsor Express. They lead in that series 1-0. The Moncton Magic at home to the St. John Riptide. There are about 44 seconds left in the third quarter, and they have a 63-52 lead. That's the first game of that series, so they're trying to get out and get a win early. And, of course, the game you're watching right now as we begin the second quarter. Island Storm have a 23-20 lead over Halifax in Halifax.
Poole now will inbound for the Canes. It's Clinkscales, Zimmerman, White, Dixon, along with Poole. Dixon, jumper, can't hit it, and Dixon continuing to struggle and trying to find his offense.
Oh, man.
And Ronaldo's 0 for 7 now from the field. But however, he's got 6 rebounds. Hall now. Bottled up by Dixon. Back inside the Hall. He's got to hurry, spin move. Hall gets to the rim, and that spin move, he pulls it out on any point of any side of the court. And he likes to go to work on this left side of the court.
Yep.
And it's just been outstanding. It's never spinning to the middle.
You see
it's
it right
always
there.
spinning to the baseline.
Yeah, and why not? I mean,
away from the helm.
He's had great success with it so far. I'd keep going back to that well, too, if I was him. Quick for the big man.
Yeah, he's got some quick feet when he makes a decision to turn the corner. And he goes 1 for 2. Hall's got 6. Poole now loses the handle, gets it back though. Poole drives, Poole off the glass, no good. Rebound by Hall. Good look and drive there by Poole, just couldn't finish, a little short at the rim. Maxwell closely guarded by White. Osei in the Maxwell. To Hall now. Hall a little bit out of his range, and Maxwell
nice finish.
Gets the sky hook to go in the lane. 6-point lead for the Storm. Zimmerman. Inside the White, and that shot is blocked from behind by Session. And a jump ball, Billy White coming up with the tie-up between him and Hall, and Tim Kendrick not happy, man. He's well animated there. And
you see the replay of it here. Billy misses, no, he gets his arm in there. Looks like Hall just keeps it.
He really had no place to go with that arm. So Billy dodged a bullet there on a personal foul. Possession arrow swings over to the favor of the Hurricanes now. Osei drives, right hand off the glass and in.
Another guy that came up big last game.
Yeah, Kimmy was good, and he got things going
Yeah.
early for the Storm. He was the catalyst of getting him in the right direction. He came out like a house on fire and knocking down a couple threes.
Yeah, it's a couple big threes.
White now, trying to back down, draws a double team. Clinkscales freeze, and Session can't stay in front of him. Here was that patented move.
Yeah.
Good pump fake. Kids, if you're watching, if you want an example of a triple threat, there it is right there.
Yeah.
Started in a triple threat position where he can either dribble, shoot, or pass, and he was able to pick up the foul on Session. Poole, baseline, gets it knocked away, picked up by Zimmerman though. Clinkscale's got to make a decision here. Watson, who's checked back in. White for three, good look, no good. Rebound by Maxwell. So good three opportunity there for the Hurricanes, trailing by 8. Anderson steps into another three, had a good look, couldn't drain it. Clinkscales looking to run. Poole, he's got a wide open J for three, no good. Rebound by Anderson. So both teams getting opportunities from beyond the arc. Poole almost coming up with the steal. Maxwell, though, back the other way. Maxwell finishes with the right hand. So that left hand doesn't look like it's bothering Devon Maxwell.
Not at all.
As he was able to get to the rim. He had to use that left hand, driving on the left side of the basket and able to finish with the right hand. 10-point lead, timeout call by head coach Mike Leslie and the Hurricanes. What is he saying right now? Because it looked like at the end of that first quarter, they were able to get it to the lead to 3. Now it's back up to 10 double digits, the largest lead this afternoon for the Storm. What has to be the message?
The message has to be look for the right shot, okay? So if you look, take for example the last one, they moved the ball around, they ended up kicking it out to Billy White for the three-pointer. Billy's not the guy normally you want taking that three, right? So they've got to do better. I mean, they're moving the ball. They just got to find the shot, and if you got it, you got to take it instead of letting the clock, wear down to where you're giving the ball to a guy who shouldn't normally be taking your threes. So if I have to guess that Coach Leslie is at least encouraging them to take those better shots, because really they haven't scored yet, Vince. It's they had 20 when they finished the first quarter. They still got 23 minutes into the second, right? So they got to find a way to get those points.
They can't fall too far behind. Hurricanes 2 for 12 from downtown. And that equates to 17%. Storm 3 of 8 from downtown, but they are 10 of 25 at 40% from the field. Hurricane 6 of 28, 21%, so continue to trend in the 20s from field goal range. Not a good look. They got to try to find a way to get this thing going and get this thing turned around, and I think it definitely starts with Billy White's play. I'm going to continue to say it, but it starts with Billy White's play, his ability to get things going towards the rim. That just opens up the floor for everybody else.
Yeah. And really, if they can get one guy that starts to get hot, everyone else will be able to rally around that. Look at what happened in the fourth quarter last game. Finally, someone got hot, and everyone else started, Mike Poole starts hitting shots. Antoine Mason starts hitting shots. And before you know it, they're within 2. But it took too long for one guy to get hot. Halifax needs someone right now.
Poole shot no good, and right there, Johnny on the spot with the putback is Billy White. Manufacturing offense. Mike Poole with a good drive, and White with the follow-up. Maybe that gets him going in the trending up in the positive way here. Hall inside, stolen by Poole. Poole back the other way now. To White in transition, kicked out to Zimmerman for 3. Good look, in and out. Zimmerman with a wide open 3 ball, and Session comes up with the rebound.
And that's the guy you want taking your wide open 3.
Osei, that shot is short, a little quick in the offense. No rebounders for the Storm. 8-point lead. Watson, that jumper is short.
Not really
Rebound by Hall. Maxwell now. hesitation, loses the handle, and he turns it over. Thought he got tapped away from behind or from the side. Antoine Mason will check back for the Hurricanes.
Looks like he'll run the point.
Mason 1 for 2, only 2 shots so far, but that will change quickly. Zimmerman off the screen, turns the corner. Watson inside, nice pass and a flush and a foul by Billy White.
That's what we're used to
Throws
seeing.
it down. Let's take a look at that beautiful ball movement. Watson, though, cutting across the face of the defense and an unselfish basketball by Tyrone.
See the dish right there to wide open Billy. Looks like Burdine just trailing, couldn't get to it. And the flush.
White can't complete the three-point play. Mike Poole almost comes up with the steal, taps it away though. Poole's calling for the ball. White though, attacking the rim, can't finish. The putback is steered by Mason.
Mike Poole, give that man some more minutes.
Man, Mike Poole has been outstanding defensively, either in the front court or the back court. It doesn't matter. He's been an absolute juggernaut defensively for the Hurricanes.
And we've been saying it all season how good he is at defense. Mike Poole, if he wasn't a guy that was coming off the bench as the 6th or 7th man, he's a guy that if he was a starter, he'd be in the running for defensive player of the year because his hands are everywhere. If he's not getting steals, he's in the passing lanes. He's a great defensive player.
And a foul call, and it looks like it's on the Hurricanes. But Antoine Mason also got teed up. Mason call for his first. And it's on Anderson, excuse me. So it looked like it was on. No, Mason said he didn't say anything in an exchange with head coach Mike Leslie, and I guess he wasn't lying. But
I've said
Anderson
that too,
not
though.
happy with what happened on the other end, and he gets teed up. And Zimmerman uncharacteristically misses the free throw.
Yeah, 88.
Shooting 88%, and that's the team best.
Kendricks looking for a timeout. He will get it.
Yeah, Kendrick gets that timeout to talk things over. That was definitely a swing in the favor for the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Mason was called for the foul. But the Hurricanes can't take advantage of knocking down that free throw, as they've been pretty good in that department this afternoon.
6 of 8 so far. So yeah, they haven't. Of all the guys to miss it, your best free throw shooter. But things happen. Still lots of game left.
They still have possession of the ball coming out of this timeout. Let's take a quick look at the leaders here, as Billy White leads the way with 8 points. Billy's 2 for 6 from the field. He's got 5 rebounds. Franklin Session leads the way with 8 for the Storm, with 7 rebounds. And he's 1 for 4 from downtown, 3 of 8 from the field. And right behind him is Devon Maxwell, 3-5 from the field. He's got 4 rebounds and 6 points. And Antoine Mason behind White, 2 for 3 is Mason. Percentage is better. Attempts is down though, and thus this first half for Mason.
Yep.
With 3 rebounds.
Took it to Ronaldo Dixon having a hard time shooting today as well. He's 0 for 7. He's taken 4 3-pointers so far. Most he's taken in a game this season is 6.
Quality shots from downtown, those looks for Ronaldo Dixon. The big man does shoot it at a pretty good percentage.
Just can't get him to drop today. However, 7 rebounds, so he's producing. Oh, goodness.
Anderson almost comes up with the steal. Steps on the sideline there. 4-point lead for the Storm after trailing by 4. He took over the lead at 9-8, and they've held on it to this lead so far. Dribble handoff to Mason. Mason inside, Mason can't finish. Rebound by Hall.
Pretty good Euro hop there.
Garnered the space, but couldn't get the finish at the rim. And the skyhook continued to be very lethal for Devon Maxwell as he spins in his 8th point of the afternoon.
And as good as Mike Poole is defensively, that's a tough draw for him, given how much longer Devon Maxwell is than him.
White.
Nice move.
And that's a good up and over. The help coming late on the baseline from Hall. And that's a good looking move, and you want Billy White to get going offensively. White's got 10. Hall now trying to go to work on White. Maxwell for 3, that's short. Rebound by White. Watson in transition on Session, and he almost gets it to go. That's a good looking drive there by Watson, and it was on Osei.
Yep. And a smart outlet by Billy White, seeing that, you know, he had Watson in basically a one-on-one situation there where Osei either had to foul or he had to let him score. So smart basketball.
And Tyrone shooting 76% from the free throw line on the season. And he gets that one to bounce in. And can't get the second one to go. He goes 1 for 2. Session now. A lot of work done there by Session, but not getting to the rim. Maxwell, fadeaway, and that's good. Man, Devon Maxwell's not having any effects.
Not at all.
Of that left hand that's heavily bandaged. Mason answers back the other way, though. Getting inside the defense and finishing around 2 or 3 feet away from the rim. Antoine is very lethal. Maxwell now. Baseline. Hall off the window and in. He loses his glasses in that exchange. So stoppage in the play, but it didn't seem to bother Carl Hall.
No,
as he knocks home his 8th point.
Good finish. Did a good job of Billy White down low. Also, you know, he played tough defense on it. They got the points, but it's a good job of not getting the foul, making that an and one situation, which, you know, it could have easily been.
Zimmerman turns the corner off the screen.
Tough defense.
White battling with Anderson down low. Back to Zimmerman for 3. That's a big 3, and he knocks it down from downtown. Antoine Zimmerman definitely needs to get on the right track, and he knocked that one down. He's 1 for 2 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, you see, Maxwell was playing him pretty tough. So Zimmerman took a step out. Maxwell didn't bother closing on him. Zimmerman said, all right, I'll take it from here.
Traveling call on Hall. And that's turnover number 8. Poole in and out. Anderson with the rebound. I don't think we've seen turnover number 8 by probably the 3rd quarter by the Storm in the last game, in game 1. Osei finishes with the right hand. Good outlet pass, a good run out by Osei, and great awareness by Anderson to find him.
But that's a good point, yeah, Vince. They played much more disciplined basketball last game. Looks like a foot, yep.
And that's kicked by the Storm. States checks in for a Hall. 4-point lead for the Storm. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the second. Zimmerman. Watson turns in the White. White's got position, and he
it was a nice spin by Billy.
Is fouled by Anderson. Yeah, so you can see it's important to get Billy White involved, and I'm liking this game plan.
Yeah,
Matt.
I am too. We see the replay of it here. Kicking into Billy. Now, Gray gets positioning, and then all Anderson can do is he let him score, foul him, so he goes with the hack.
He's able to absorb the body contact and use that too as an advantage, spinning away from the defender. Billy continuing to make his hay on the charity stripe. And Billy knocks down both. And White's got 12 now, 6 of 7 from the free throw line with 6 rebounds. One possession game here. Osei.
No good. Looks like it was on the ground.
And it looks like Zimmerman will be called for the blocking foul. That's Taquan's first, team's third. And Maxwell, a little bump between him and Watson, looked for a foul, didn't get it, and he turns it over. That's number 9 now. Hurricanes with an opportunity to take the lead or tie it up. Mason on session. Mason drives and he draws the triple team, and that's deflected by States. And Mason's ran over and he picks up the charging call. So another turnover. That's turnover number 10.
Coach Kendrick not happy about that. I don't know if he's glaring out in the court. I don't know if he's glaring at his players or the refs. Let's see the replay here.
Maybe a combination on both.
It may be, yeah.
And that's on Devon Maxwell. That's his third. That's a huge foul.
Wow, yeah.
With 3:21 remaining in the second quarter. That's 3 on Maxwell. He'll go to the bench, and Hall checks back in.
So, like I said, you know, you got those players, you want to get them into foul trouble, so Coach Kendrick has no choice but to put them on the bench for a little bit.
Pool 3 ball, no good. Had a good look off the screen.
He did.
States with the rebound. And once again, head coach Tim Kendrick looking for a post the Carl Hall. There's only one Carl on the floor, and that seems to be the message that we're hearing a lot. Post Carls.
I don't blame him.
Session now.
He's been a monster.
Osei short with the 3 ball. That was a tough shot forced by Mason. Mason back the other way, inside the Watson, kicked out the Zimmerman for 3. That's no good.
Oh, Mike Poole
kept
crashing.
alive by Poole, crashing the boards. And it's last touch, looks like, by the Storm with 2:38 remaining in the second quarter. It's a 2-point lead. Both teams, though, are struggling, though, to find their offense because we're stuck in the 30s. Mason forces the 3. Rebound, though. Watson. Zimmerman knocks it down. Good look for Zimmerman. He's 2 for 3 from downtown. Zimmerman's got 6. Hurricanes take the lead now. Osei almost turned it over. Anderson for 3. Bang, and he knocks it down, and they take the lead right back. Anderson, that's his third from downtown. He's 3 for 4. Watson, baseline. Mason puts it up from downtown. Downtown it goes. Antoine starting to heat up. He's got 11. Back and forth we go here from beyond the arc by both of these teams.
This is the basketball we've been waiting for. 1-point
lead for the Hurricanes. Hall drives, and he's fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line. So with 1:37 remaining in the second quarter, Hall will step back up to the free throw line. He's 4 for 6. Making his 4th trip to the charity stripe is Hall.
That'll be 3 on Dixon now.
Ronaldo getting some quality minutes off the bench for Mike Leslie.
See the replay of Mason hitting that shot from way downtown.
And it was challenged. Osei
Sure
stepped all the way out to challenge that dagger, but didn't affect Mason as he rises up and knocks it down. As Hall knocks down both. He's got 10. And we have a timeout on the floor called by Mike Leslie as he wants to talk things over here to finish this 1:37 remaining in the second quarter. But you gotta like the resolve by the Hurricanes. When things look like, you know, they were kind of coming undone and went down 10 in this quarter, struggled in the first 3 minutes, not scoring at all.
Yeah.
But it's been the play of the inside game, the bigs, getting the ball inside and looking to get their bigs involved, in particular, Billy White.
Yeah, and that's what they need to keep doing. They need to keep going to that well. I wouldn't be surprised to see Rommel Brown. Maybe he doesn't come back out with the remainder of the time we got left, but we're going to see a lot more of him in the second half for sure. But yeah, Halifax, they understand the urgency of this, so they understand they can't let themselves slip into a 20-point, 23-point deficit like they did last game. There's no coming back from that, and that they showed that. So yeah, Halifax obviously they fell behind, playing with a little bit more intensity, a little bit more urgency for sure.
Good crowd on hand here at Scotiabank Center for game number 2. With Matt Elliott, Vince Williams on hand, and the entire Silver Vision crew. Thank you for joining us. If you're just joining us here for game number 2, the Hurricanes trailing by 1, 43-42 to the Island Storm. The Storm capturing lightning in a bottle in game number 1, stealing home court advantage.
Yep. And
winning that one 108-102. But it was outstanding play by their starting lineup as all 5 guys were in double digits, high double digits. You're talking 20 apiece by 2 of them. 23 is your leader with Osei, and Session ended up with 15.
Yep, and a couple guys double-double as well, I think.
By Carl Hall.
But pull up the box score here
Hall
from the game.
had 20, Maxwell had 19, Session had 15.
Yep.
And Chris Johnson, who's not available this afternoon, he had 18, and he had some pretty good shooting as he went 8 for 4 from the field. Dixon again from beyond the arc, and he comes up short as that rims in and out. Dixon having his struggles. He's 0 for 8 and 0 for 5 from downtown. Osei now kicks it out to Anderson, who's been pretty good from beyond the arc. Back inside the Hall, and Hall's just going to work inside. And he's got 12.
He's just stronger, he's bigger than Ronaldo Dixon. He's taking advantage of that size.
Mason kicked out to Zimmerman. That is way out. And that was a heat check from downtown by Zimmerman. Osei, he'll put it up for 3, and that's short. And Osei is having his struggles to find his offense in game number 2. He's 2 for 7 and 0 for 3 from beyond the arc with 4 points. 3-point lead for the Storm. Mason drives, and he's called for too many steps with 28 remaining in the second quarter. So differential of 4 seconds on the game clock and the shot clock. And you got to think that Sessions is probably going to hold this.
I think so, yeah.
And get it down to at least single digits in the shot clock. And it's going to be Session to go one-on-one, either getting a screen from Hall and looking and calling for that screen. He's got to go now, though. Hall, spin move, can't get it to go. Mason back the other way. He's got to beat the game clock, and Mason off the glass, and he almost gets that one to go down.
Jeez, the roof would have come off this place.
However, it's a 3-point deficit. We are right back where we were last time in game number 1. The Hurricanes trailing after 24 minutes.
Yeah, but this time, trailing only by 3, playing a lot better of a game. Considering they're still not shooting great, they're only at 28%, but that has climbed slowly from the first quarter. So Halifax, this is still very much a anyone's basketball game where it looked pretty dire last time.
So Carl Hall leads the way for the Storm with 12 points as they lead this one by 3. We're going to step aside, but stay with us. You are watching Halifax Hurricanes basketball on the Hurricanes Basketball Channel. Third quarter underway here. Hurricanes with control, with Matt Elliott, Vince Williams on hand, and the entire Silver Vision crew as Brown throws down the two-handed hammer, and that's exactly what they need. Big to big to start the third, but they can't give up another three ball just like that to Chris Anderson as he answers from beyond the arc, and Anderson is 4 for 5 from downtown.
Jeez, he's feeling it today.
Watson almost throws it away. Billy saves it. Mason with a better save at the half-court line. Clinkscales freezes Hall, and off the window and good. Great outstanding play by Clinkscales as he was able to put the freeze on Hall and put him on skates and gets to the rim with the left hand and banks it home.
I still didn't think, you see it here, I still didn't think he was going to be able to get it up over Hall's long arm, but he did. Thought he got hacked, but he didn't. But a great finish given, like they did a good job to keep it from going over the backcourt, but the clock was ticking, the shot clock. They were down to mere seconds when Cliff got that in.
And both teams picking up where they left off in the second quarter, trying to light the rim on fire. Hall now. They might need a double team Hall to get the ball out of his hands, and that was a good double team. Not look like it was planned by Mason as he took his time closing out on Maxwell, but he stood just close enough to Hall to force him to give up the ball.
Yeah, which is what they're going to, it's a good point by you. They may have to look to that double team.
Clinkscales, that one's short as he was able to get all the ways to the rim, but couldn't finish. 2-point game for the Storm. Hall now, back down underneath. Hall, reversals, no good. Brown knocks it away, and he blocks the shot on the second attempt. Hall stays with it, though, left hand, and he's called for too many steps.
Wow. Great defense by Rommel Brown there.
Yeah, Brown stepping up on the baseline. As head coach Tim Kendrick not happy with that traveling call on Hall. That's turnover number 11 for the Storm. Mason inside to White. White draws the triple team. That's just ultimate respect right there.
Yeah,
Brown baseline. Kicks it out to White though. White hesitation, blow by, left hand.
Oh, great take.
Billy found some resolve in that. He knew he couldn't get the post up, but he did an outstanding job of putting Maxwell into the fence, blowing by him and finishing with the left hand.
Yeah, and that's what Billy brings, because that athleticism, right? So if he doesn't have the back down, if the offense with his back to the basket, take a few steps out and attack like he just did. It was beautiful.
And he can finish off the bounce, and he made no mistake after he blew by Maxwell.
He doesn't need much room either.
Maxwell dribble hand off the Session for three, no good. Rebound by Watson. Hurricanes looking to run in the open floor. Clinkscales now. Back to even terms we are here in the early going of the third. 48 apiece. Mason, he'll fire from downtown, and bang, he connects. Antoine Mason skipping up the court, and that's a good sign when he can knock down the three ball in that situation when it's a standstill wide open three and not being challenged.
It's a couple for him now.
He's got 14 on the afternoon is Mason. Session trying to go to work. Spin move. That's blocked by Clinkscales. Battle for the loose ball. Clinkscales comes up with it. Watson in transition. Watson to the cup. Finger roll and rolls it in. And a timeout call by Tim Kendrick.
Great basketball. Great transition basketball, which we saw almost none of last game from Halifax. Really taking it to them, and that's one of their strengths, but a great finish at the rim by Tyrone Watson over the outstretched arm of Carl Hall.
And I'm not sure what head coach Mike Leslie had to say to the Hurricanes in that halftime break, but whatever he has said has lit a fire underneath these guys starting this third quarter.
Yeah, well, probably just a reminder to them, guys, if you have another bad half, we're down 2-0 in a 5-game series, best of 5-game series. That's a death blow almost, right? So
absolutely. The Storm looking to get a stranglehold on this 5-game series as they stole game number 1, 108-102, with some pretty good shooting, 108 points was outstanding, but the Hurricanes, they struggled to find their shooting range in pretty much half of that ball game, as we're being generous when we say half, because essentially they really only played 12 strong minutes in game number 1.
Yep. 12 complete minutes, where they were playing both offense and defense. They had a couple quarters where they scored 30 points above, so you're playing good offense, but their defense let the other team, let the Island Storm match them or better them, right? So
you mentioned it. They had some, a 30-point quarter there in the third, but Storm matched it with 30 of their own as well. Pretty even in the first 24 minutes, though. They trailed by 3 after 12, 23-20, but they even it up at 22. So they pretty much had it on even keel, but now they have a 5-point lead, all on the strength of transition, as we can see here.
Look at that great finger roll by Watson. I don't know if he knew Hall was coming for him or not, but put just enough on it that it didn't get blocked.
Well, we've seen this all season long by Watson. He doesn't care who's inside. You better be able to elevate and block his shot, because he's going to take it strong to the cup, and he can finish around the rim. He's amongst the league leaders in field goal percentage for a reason, because he gets those shots in tight 2 or 3 feet away from the basket.
But he also knows when to give it up underneath to the open man.
Absolutely. And a turnover as Brown was able to slap that entry pass away. Clinkscales now trying to build on this 5-point lead. Billy, he's double teamed. That's knocked away, and he's called for too many steps. I'm not sure why too many steps, because he didn't really have possession of the basketball.
No. I'm thinking the ref on you see where the angle he made that from. I don't think he saw the fact that Billy didn't have the ball with him.
Might have got blocked out there. Might have been on the fence of either calling a foul. Clinkscale steps in front of Session. Osei, who's had a pretty quiet game this afternoon. Anderson, however, has not. Session, he's got to go. Shot clock under 10. Session baseline, in tight to Hall. And Hall draws the foul on Watson as the shot attempt was rejected by Brown. And Watson's called for his second personal, team second here in the third.
See it there. Nice block by Brown, but he'd already been fouled by Watson.
Hall knocks down the first.
Continues that hot free throw shooting. That's 7 for 9 for him now.
Yes, the 57% on the year is fool's gold for sure.
Definitely.
And he banks the second one off the iron, but the rebound's picked up by Osei. Osei now trying to step into a 3, and it looks like Maxwell is tied up by Mason off the ball.
It'll be his second, I think.
That's Mason's second. Team's third. Osei coming off the double screen on the baseline. Thought about putting up the 3. Gets the screen from Hall. They get into a 2-man game, and a moving screen called on Carl Hall. A little bit too much physicality on that screen as he bodied up Mason. Hall's first, though. Team's first. Clinkscales. Clink. Mason. Good look from downtown. Mason drains it from downtown. Outstanding patience with the basketball by Clinkscales to find Mason, who got lost in the fray. And if you're the Island Storm, you can't lose number 14 on the floor at any point.
Ooh, nice take. Was that Session? Yes,
Session with the finger roll, though. Back the other way with the answer.
Session is someone Halifax doesn't want getting hot.
5-point lead for the Canes. Billy, baseline, left hand, short. Rebounds picked up by Anderson. Good looking attempt there at the rim for Billy. Maxwell, jumper, strong, and that's not one of the stronger parts of Maxwell's game, is that mid-range. Billy with the lob.
Nice finish.
Beautiful lob by Mason, and Billy was able to ward off the defender with the offhand and finish with the left.
And a good recognition by Mason of that mismatch. Osei, obviously not nearly as long as Billy, drew that defensive assignment.
Hall trying to make his way inside, and he's battling with Brown, and Brown was able to protect the rim. Watson, and back the other way in transition, just like that. are the Hurricanes, and they push this lead to 9 now, their largest of the afternoon.
Starting to look like the Hurricanes we're used to seeing. And already you can see Rommel Brown making a big difference underneath.
Session now, he's cut off at the rim. Anderson for 3, good look. Anderson drains it from beyond the arc again. Chris is 5 for 6 from downtown. He's got 15, and he's keeping them close.
He really is.
Man, Lob City two-handed thunder by White. Clint Scales, the White connection, finally shows up in these playoffs.
Love that
That's
two-man
the
game.
first Lob City for them. Osei, pull up, and that was a good-looking fadeaway jumper by Osei. He's got to get his offense going and in the right direction. He's 4 for 9 now. He's got 8. Clint Scales, dribble handoff to Mason. Mason pulls it out inside the White. White draws that double team. White spins, left hand, can't finish. And last touch by Maxwell as an outstanding hustle by Watson to knock it off Maxwell.
Crashing those boards.
As Hall will check out and States will check in for the Storm. So Hall will get a blow at 5:19 remaining in the third. Hurricanes
Now States, is
up by 6.
States going to guard Rommel Brown?
Brown finishes off the glass and in. That's a
Beautiful
good-looking entry
inbound.
pass to Brown. Big screen off of that inbound play, and Brown was able to lip that one down.
Looks like got him on
Osei.
the floor.
And Billy's call for the personal. Billy's going straight for the bench. Either he's pulling himself out of this game. That's Billy's 3rd.
I think he thought it might have been his 4th.
Team's 4th. Billy's going to remain in this game, though. As head coach Mike Leslie is sitting down. You usually see him patrolling the sidelines
true enough.
there. Anderson tried to feed in tight to Maxwell. That pick and roll game didn't work this time. And that's turnover number 12. 8-point lead, Hurricanes. It's their largest. Just under 5 remaining in the third. Trying to take control of this third quarter and get this series back on even terms. Storm come into this one game to none. We've only played one, but this one is very much a must-win situation for the Hurricanes. Watson, oh my goodness, Mason again knocks down the dagger.
Carrying the mail today.
Man, oh man, no slow start for Mason. 7 for 12 from the field. He's 4 for 6 from downtown. That equates to 20 points. Session off the bounce, and Mason's called for the block, and that's Mason's 3rd.
You see the replay here. Mason step back. Just like that, defender couldn't get there in time.
And if you got Mason and White going, you give yourself a pretty good chance
Yes, sir.
to win a basketball game.
Especially if Mason's feeling from the perimeter.
Osei with the tough 3, the fadeaway on the sideline. And Clint Scales,
Boom.
the Watson two-handed rim rocker as Clint Scales almost lost the handle in transition, and right back the other way comes Maxwell. Didn't care who was in there, and that almost got blocked off the backboard. Clint Scales for 3. Bang, and he knocks it down. Pace starting to quicken here.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm telling you, the Hurricanes catching
Feeling it.
lightning in a bottle in this
Feeling it.
third quarter. 72-58 now. It's their largest lead, just under 4 minutes remaining. Anderson, as the crowd starting to get into it here at Scotiabank.
Whoa.
And Anderson airmails that one to Maxwell as he throws it right into the open arms of the Island Storm bench, as Clint Scales is encouraging the Scotiabank faithful to get more into it.
Yes. And obviously for obvious reasons, let's look at the replay. Look at this rim rocker. Oh, it's a big man throwing down. I was going to say, obviously, it was a quiet crowd here last game. Clint Scales getting everyone up out of their seats.
Session with the nice transition, 3-on-2, back
nice.
the other way. Beautiful touches by the Storm.
And they're not going to give
Maybe
up.
that, no way, they're in this one this is going to be a fight right to the end.
Yeah, no doubt.
To decide this series. Even though it's 1 versus 4, the regular season is over. It's a new season. The playoffs brings new life and new hope.
Yeah.
And the Island Storm definitely have hope because they showed it in game number 1, and they're showing here in game number 2. I mean, even though it's a 12-point lead, it's the largest for the Hurricanes in this game and in this series. But it's the Hurricane basketball is what we're seeing, Matt, and you said it. I mean, this is what we've been accustomed to seeing, and it's good to see. But they got to continue this as Poole knocks down the 3, and the X Factor showing up. Man, this guy, like the microwave coming off the bench, yeah. Mike Poole has not disappointed the home court here at Scotiabank and the fans, but he's been outstanding in this one.
He's been incredible playing two-way basketball. Oh, my goodness.
Session, third chance, can't get it, fourth. Billy finally with the rebound. Canes have numbers in transition. Poole for 3. Poole, that's too strong. Rebound by Clint Scales.
And the foul.
As he was able to outmaneuver and gain great position on Session and force a Session into the foul.
Clint Scales playing with that fire that we're so used to seeing.
So you could see just a little bit here, Matt, that the Island Storm, you know, their heads hanging just a little bit and hands on hips. They look to be a little tired.
They're tired.
With that shortened bench and those minutes not being there with, you know, multiple injuries, guys not available, Chris Johnson not available, Tyler Scott not available, Andre Stringer not available, and then you got, you know, Hall has to put up huge minutes. Maxwell's got to put huge minutes. States has to put up huge minutes. They're essentially playing with 6 guys. Burdine had a little bit of burn in the first half, but other than that, we haven't even seen Meshach Lufau
not even the first game
in this series at all. So, I mean, lots of decisions being made by head coach Tim Kendrick as he's trying to do his best to win game number 2, but you got to think for the future. You got to think down the road in games 3 and 4 when they'll go back to their own house trying to close this series. So, Hurricanes all season long have done an outstanding job of rotating guys in and out and keeping guys fresh.
Deep bench.
You know, they're without one player, and it's a huge player, C.J. Washington. And Washington, if you're watching, thank you for joining us. And it's been a privilege, and I can say it for you as well, Matt, of watching C.J. play an all-star season. Too bad, and unfortunately unable to play the rest of the playoffs here and help his team win the championship. But, I mean, Hurricanes have done an outstanding job of rotating players, and they're fresh. You can see. Now, they may have a little bit more in the tank in game number 3 and number 4 and in this game, but we still got a lot of basketball to go. But interesting times for Tim Kendrick in trying to game manage this shortened bench.
Well, you know, it's a tough position as a coach for Coach Kendrick. You've got a short bench game 1 and game 2. You won game 1 with that short bench, so you have to make the decision, okay, do I go for the throat now? Do I go for that win and burn the guys out potentially? Or do I lay back and go with the more fluid rotation in the hopes of maybe clinching it at home? It appears like maybe he's going to go for that win now. Now, we'll see. But, you know, there was 3 guys that played over 40 minutes in game 1 for the Island Storm. That's a lot of basketball.
Absolutely, a lot of basketball in game number 3 as a foul is called on Anderson by the looks of it, and Poole will go to the line. Game number 3 will go Thursday night at the East Link Center. That's a 6 p.m. tip-off time as Poole hits the first. Lots of time, though, the rest for these two teams, but, I mean, if it's going to be like this, there's a shortened bench, and not, you know, using all your bench, it's going to be a long series. If the Hurricanes can get into this running game, as it's a 17-point lead now, their largest of the afternoon and their largest in the series. If it gets into a track meet, the Storm may be in trouble. Session now. Hall kicked out to Anderson. Anderson pump fake. And they turn it over. Poole back the other way. Poole in transition. Poole blows by Session and finishes. 19 now. Things really starting to get unraveled here for the Storm. Under 2 remaining in the third. States baseline. He loses the handle, and it's last touch and poked away by Poole. So it will remain Storm possession. 15 on the shot clock, 1:33 remaining.
See Mike Poole's finish there, does a good job. Just beats Session to the basket. Session plays it smart, doesn't go over and get a foul.
Session, and that's knocked away from him momentarily, and it's a foul call. And on Clinkscales will get called for the reach. But he was off to the races. He was able to come up with that turnover. That's Clinkscales' third, team sixth. Maxwell to Hall. That's not his usually starting position. Spins though and finishes.
Nice. Wow.
He just battled, was able to back down Brown off the bounce. Brown's looking for an offensive foul. Brown's looks like he's cut his lip.
Get a shot.
Looked like he might have taken a headbutt, an inadvertent headbutt by Carl Hall. Poole, blow by. Poole, bank is open and down goes the ball. Mike Poole continuing to be the energy and the results off the bench for the reserves of the Hurricanes.
Yeah, he's playing fantastic basketball. It's 12 points for him now. He started off a little cold, was shooting his 4 for 12, now 2 for 5 from 3-line, which is fantastic. He's grabbing rebounds, he's getting assists, he's stealing the ball. He's all over the court. 4 players now Halifax has in double digits, as do the Island Storm.
As Ronaldo Dixon checks in for the first time in the second half for the Canes. Clinkscales gets the turnover on State. It's last touched by Clinkscales, so no turnover. It will remain Storm possession. 18 seconds on the shot clock and 49.1 remaining in the third. Hurricanes up 19. Anderson inbound. Session off the screen from Hall, doesn't use it. Session pulls it out, tries to back down Clinkscales. Clinkscales with the steal and off to the races, and look out as Watson throws it down with the 2 hands, and he was able to duck under. That the feet was States. Wow, and Hall to the rim, and he was looking for a foul, and he gets it, and that's on Ronaldo. And Hall, in the act of shooting, will shoot 2. But man, oh man,
Watson
what a run by
hard.
Watson.
See the replay here.
Not sure why they were even trying to run him down. He was well ahead of the defense there. Was looking for Maxwell.
He had to avoid States coming in there.
Yeah, I tell you, Maxwell really didn't play that with too much great urgency.
No.
Maxwell, the defensive player of the year. I like to call him Dr. Duncanstein. He didn't want anything to do with Tyrone Watson in the open floor.
Get out of that poster.
And Hall goes 1 for 2. 20-point lead. Man, it's been the largest, and we haven't been able to say this too much in this series. Clinkscales will hold for the last shot. Clinkscales for 3. And that's no good. Last touch by Anderson, and it's 1.9 seconds remaining as Anderson was in a fight for the loose ball between him and White. Anderson with a few choice words to Ryan Lutz on the baseline.
I'll give Anderson the benefit of the doubt there. It didn't look like he touched it to me, but I'm not down there, so trust the call of the refs.
Zimmerman with the inbound. Poole for 3, beats the clock. Oh, Poole had a good look. Faded away a little bit off of that shot. But what a half quarter that was for the Hurricanes. And they put up a 41 spot compared to 18.
41 points, and all of a sudden, just like that, their field goal percentage is 42%. Their three-point percentage is 36%. This is what we've been, this is what we've been waiting for. This is the Halifax that we're used to seeing.
And the Hurricanes doing an outstanding job defensively, forcing 16 turnovers for the Storm compared to 6. So the Storm not taking care of the basketball. They did an outstanding job in game number 1, but it's been a cavalcade of errors in game number 3 thus far.
Yep, Halifax Halifax has been owning it right now. They're playing the basketball that they are the best at playing. The quick transition, taking the smart shots, playing that tough defense, that annoying defense where they get the hands in the passing lanes, and it's paying off. They have an 83-63 lead right now.
And we'll just take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard here, and the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Killam Apartments.
All right. In St. John, with just under 2 minutes to go in that game, the St. John's Edge look like they're going to take a 2-0 lead as they've got a 114-101 lead over the Windsor Express. It's a final in Moncton. They won the first game of that series 82-77 over the St. John Riptide, so they'll take a 1-0 lead in that best-of-5 series. And, of course, the game you're watching right now here in Halifax. Going into the fourth quarter, Halifax has an 83-63 lead.
Fourth quarter coming up here at Scotiabank Center. It's game number 2 of the 2018 Atlantic Divisional Playoffs. Island Storm and the Halifax Hurricanes with Matt Elliott, Vince Williams on hand, and the entire Silver Vision crew. And just a reminder, games 3 and 4 will be played in Charlottetown at the Eastlink Center on Thursday night, the 12th. At 6 p.m., game number 3 and game number 4, if necessary, will go Saturday the 14th with a 7 p.m. tip-off at the Eastlink Center. And if we need a 5th and deciding game, it'll be here at Scotiabank Center on the 18th. That is Wednesday the 18th with a 7 p.m. tip-off time. So both teams getting their final instructions to start this fourth quarter. The Storm down 20, leading this series 1-0, but they do have home court advantage going into game number 3. Good crowd on hand here at Scotiabank Center on a Sunday afternoon for game
crowd.
2. And the kids are well into this one. They definitely like to see points on the board because that gives them an opportunity to dance.
That's right. A lot more fun. Funny thing about that, a lot more fun when the home team's winning and scoring points.
Session, Maxwell, Hall, States, and Osei will start the fourth here for the Storm as Dixon can't save it on the end line. Hall looking for a foul, though. It will stay with the Storm. Head coach Tim Kendrick, few choice words again with Paul DeBailey. Hurricanes will go with Ronaldo's, Garden Hall, Zimmerman, Poole, White, and Watson. That shot is airmail, but right into the open arms of States. Osei not happy, and I mean, they're just every opportunity in between the plays or during the play, or they're just giving it, the Storm that is, having several conversations with the officials.
Yeah.
Right now, they can't really get caught up in that, that game talking to the officials. They need to right the ship here on the floor. And it starts on the defensive end because when you give up 41 points in a quarter in a playoff game, the officials have nothing to do with it. It has to do with the defensive effort.
That's right. But, as so often happens in situations like that, guys get a little bit frustrated. You get frustrated. You don't want to blame yourselves. You don't want to blame your teammates. Refs are a lot easier.
As Billy White will go to the line to shoot 2. And Billy's too strong on the first. But it's been the energized play of Billy White this afternoon that has sparked this trending offensive outburst by the Hurricanes.
Yeah, he's been one of the offensive leaders. Not just, obviously in points, but in his play. Losi.
Oh, nice finish at the rim there with the left hand by Kemi. Zimmerman, baseline. Watson, unguarded baseline, kicks it to Zimmerman. Zimmerman thought about shooting from downtown. Shot clock under 10. Zimmerman, wide open look from downtown now. Bang, and knocks it down. And that's what they were working on right there.
Yep.
Unselfish basketball, great ball movement.
Really good.
By the Hurricanes as Zimmerman getting into the open space on the sideline there, was able to knock it down. Shot's no good, though. Back the other way of the Storm. And here comes the Hurricanes. Billy, spin move. Watson, baseline. And he's fouled, and Watson's down and holding his face.
Took a shot to the head there, but it looks of things. Oh,
and it looks like he opened up a cut there on Watson's forehead.
WrestleMania is not till tonight.
Wow, a wrestling reference.
Look at the dish. Great pass underneath.
Was huge. Look,
oh, yeah, he got the elbow. Yeah.
By Session.
Not purposeful, obviously.
Oh, absolutely not. Tyrone's back up to his feet under his own strength. And he'll definitely have to take maybe a stitch or two here to close that gash. And let's hope that Tyrone's okay. Just waiting to see who's going to shoot. And Mike Leslie making...
Because he has to come out of the game.
Somebody's got to come in, and there's only 4 players on the floor as Mason will check in. Mason will come off the bench for the Hurricanes and shoot the free throws for Watson. Antoine has played an outstanding game up to this point for the Hurricanes. Leading the way with 20 points, 7 for 12 from the field is Antoine. And up to that point, he was perfect from the charity stripe. But this is his second trip to the free throw line. Mason, who was in a battle for MVP with the eventual winner, Carl English.
Yeah, Royce White as well. Uh-oh.
But I didn't think you were going to rip out a wrestling reference. Heard too many of those.
It's only appropriate. It's WrestleMania tonight, so I had to drop it.
Jeez, there are too many of those on in the past. I really want to forget those days because it was kind of painful. Turnover by the Hurricanes. We don't want to get into that too much.
No.
We've seen better days now. Things are looking up. Zimmerman for 3, no good. Session with the rebound. Osei, Maxwell can't get the teardrop to go. And that shot's rejected, but he draws the contact, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
It's called on Mike Poole. I don't know if we'll see a replay, but he looked like he got all ball to me.
Poole call for his first. Team's first.
Good at Coach Kendrick. He's always working the sidelines and the crowd.
Whether it's the officials or the crowd.
Yeah.
Very animated.
Definitely.
Is the definition to call his coaching style. 18-point lead for the Hurricanes. Just under 10 remaining here in the 4th. As Session, a little bit too aggressive there, pushes Mason. And Session will pick up his 4th personal. Excuse me, his 5th. Session 5 for 14 from the field. He's got a double-double though, 12 points and 13 rebounds. Billy draws the double team, loses the handle, eventually turns it over. Maxwell now. Maxwell looking for space in transition. States, good catch and good finish at the rim as he's fouled. That was an outstanding catch by States, as it looked like Maxwell got caught in the air.
Yeah, he did.
And had no place to go with the basketball, but he was able to find States cutting to the rim.
I don't think States was expecting it, but nice finish.
Good catch by States and finish.
Burdine's going to go in and forget to take his shirt. There we go.
It's been a while since he's checked in. And
he was hurt last game, so that may explain why he's why he hasn't seen a whole lot of minutes this game. Coach probably doesn't want to exacerbate an already existing injury, but running out of options.
So Watson sporting the headband, the purple headband, to close that gash. He checks back in along with Ramel Brown as Poole and White go to the bench for the Canes. Watson wastes no time, continuing to be aggressive with the basketball as he tried to blow by States. States gets him with a shoulder shiver.
He did.
And that's 4 on State's, team's third. Watson, 5 for 8 from the field, 11 points and 8 rebounds, working on a double-double. Zimmerman now in the Brown. Brown to Watson. Watson, blow by, can't get the sky hook to go in the lane. Osei. He's bottled up by Clinkscales. Maxwell steps into a 3, and that's way off, and Maxwell just can't find the range from beyond the arc. Zimmerman, he'll put it up, and that's rejected into the front row on the baseline by States.
Didn't know States was trailing.
He looked the first time, didn't see anyone, Zimmerman that is. Try to dribble into some open space, found it there temporarily, and good close by States.
Yeah. Wow.
Turnover on the inbound as Osei rips that away. Osei to the rim. Osei short. Back the other way comes Watson in the open floor. Watson left hand finishes. Watson's got 13. Outstanding decision by Watson as Mason was calling for the lob. Brown tried to step in front of Hall, but he's called for the foul. Rummel's third, team's third.
So the replay there, nice finish. Nothing Maxwell really could do. You either go up and you get the foul. I think he played it smart.
States now trying to back down Zimmerman, turns it over. Rummel, the big man in the open floor. Rummel with the right hand.
Nimble.
Beautiful play by the big fella. Rummel Brown, 6'7" center from Manhattan College. But he's called for the foul as Trinity Burdine attacks the rim.
Gonna give him 2.
Brown's third, team's fourth. And Kemi Osei still talking to the officials, just pleading, looking for a foul. He definitely looks like he's frustrated, Matt.
He is, yeah.
7:43 remaining, still lots of basketball left in this game.
Far
but
from
you
over.
gotta think about the engine. Is there enough left in the tank for the Island Storm to get back into this one?
Well, we'll see. I mean, they're almost
fighting.
halfway through this final quarter, so if they got it in the tank, they need to turn it on and turn it on now.
They're fighting, and this is a good sign here for them as a turnover here. Zimmerman's called for the offensive foul. And a technical foul is called on Kemi Osei. And
that was bound to happen.
Foul. That's the second one we've seen this afternoon by the Storm. So undisciplined basketball here in between whistles.
There's Zimmerman able to make that one count.
Just no excuse here.
No, especially when you're trying to climb back from this kind of a deficit.
They were
You
just
can't.
given the ball here on an offensive foul called on Zimmerman. And the first one was called on Anderson in the first half. So you can't have those type of letdowns, mentally if you're trying to win a series.
Can't let your frustration get the better of you.
Zimmerman, he'll put it up for 3. Too strong, and that's rebound by Osei. 18-point lead. Just over 7 remaining in the fourth. Osei gets to the rim, reverses, can't get it to go. Second chance coming up. Left hand's no good, and the frustration continues for Kemi. Zimmerman, kick out. Mason picks up the loose ball as Mason will pull it out, and Clinkscales will have it now.
Yep, no need to rush.
Good decision by Mason to slow it up. Clinkscales off the screen. Watson, blow by, right hand, little short at the rim though. Outstanding first step there by Watson.
Nice blow by Maxwell.
Oh, it looked like he was just a little far out though. Thought he was going to light up the rim with the one-handed throwdown.
It was a great move.
But he decides to go with the finger roll. Important to put the ball in the hoop. Clinkscales, Zimmerman, nice move. Kick out, Mason for 3. Down it goes. Wow, outstanding play.
He's feeling it today.
Unselfish basketball by Zimmerman. as he was able to blow by his defender and find Mason, and Mason knocks down another 3 ball.
5 of 7.
24 points for Mason. We have a foul here. That's on Brown. He's called for the push. That's his 4th. Team 6. Anderson in session will check in for the Storm. Osei with frustration will go to the bench, and Burdine as well. Anderson with the inbound.
So
Maxwell, spin, fade away. Too strong rebound by Brown.
That's a season high now for Antoine Mason in threes. See if he'll top. No.
Misses everything, air ball.
Prior to that, it had been 4.
States, and that's a nice looking move.
Very nice
in
finish.
Transition. Good soft touch around the rim by Brad States. And a timeout on the floor as Mike Leslie's had enough and he wants to talk it over. And Leslie is not giving up in this game. He will continue to get this job done as he has a quick conversation with Antoine Mason, and I'm not sure what that's all about, but it had to do something with the defense here.
Could be, yeah.
He's not happy right now. It's a quick conversation between head coach Mike Leslie and Antoine Mason.
And that's what you want to see from your head coach. Take nothing for granted,
he's fired
right?
Up. Yeah. He is fired up, and you don't become head coach of the year by not coaching a full 48 minutes.
That's right.
And that's important. It's the playoffs. There is no tomorrow. This is a must-win situation for the Hurricanes, and right now, to this point, they're getting the job done, but we still got a lot of basketball left. 5:41 to be exact. But if you're head coach Tim Kendrick, what are you saying to your guys? He's continuing to fight, even though we're playing with a shortened bench.
That's it. And, what can you tell them? You've got to tell them to keep going, keep playing, continue. You got to set a tone because there's still more basketball to be played, not just this game, but we're going home, right? Tell the guys, okay, we're going home. We're going home with a tie in this one, So
when do you concede this one and say, okay, let's cut our losses, let's try to, keep what we have here somewhat, I can't say fresh, somewhat, not exude too much energy on other guys and maybe bring in, give a little bit more playing time to Burdine, and let's see Mishak Lufau. We haven't seen him at all in this series. Yeah,
and you're right. And if I was the coach of this team, I'd be conceding it by now. Probably, I'm bringing in some fresher bodies to give the guys rest. But Coach Kendrick, obviously, he's the pro, not me. So he's keeping his good guys in, or keeping his starters, and trying to set a tone and get the most he can out of them.
Pretty
regardless.
Much playing 6.
Yeah.
This afternoon are the Island Storm, as Watson's jumper's no good. Anderson, who's played an outstanding game,
he sure has,
gets to the rim, and States can't finish at the rim, and that's pinned and blocked from behind by Brown. So Brown with the recovery on that defensive play. Mason now. Ramel, that was a nice move by Brown as he finishes with the right hand off the glass. 18-point lead.
And with that, Halifax now has 7 players in double digits.
Session knocks down the jumper.
Double-double for Cliff Klingscales. 10 points, 10 assists.
Watson. Mason. Watson trying to back down States. Oh, nice move. Another.
Beautiful. A nice cut by Mike Poole, too.
Cutting to the open floor inside that painted area, but an outstanding play by Watson as he was able to get in between the defenders. States as he barrels right into the chest of Ramel Brown. Brown's call for the block, though. That's Ramel's 5th.
See the replay here.
Canes over the limit. Yeah, a little late there coming.
Yep.
Trying to set up for the charge.
It's a second too late. It was a nice pass, actually, by Duvon Maxwell to get it into States in the first place.
Great entry. States misses the first. And he misses the second. Blank scales now. Mason on a dribble handoff, and States ran into a brick wall.
I guess he did.
Last name Brown. Man, that was a huge collision. Brown in tight, can't finish. Anderson, open floor to Hall. Hall.
Nice
and
defense.
That's ripped away by Watson. Canes have numbers back the other way. Poole, teardrop down.
And look out, fans.
That ball's thrown away into the front row.
In comes Mishak Lufal.
And finally, Mishak checks in along with Burdine.
So you were wondering, you were asking, you see the replay here, the fake. And the finish, nice touch. But yeah, you were
at the 3:23 mark.
When is he going to concede?
Like the Island Storm have conceded this game, and they are down 21 points. Poole will inbound. Next, we'll have to see when Coach Mike Leslie will take his foot off the gas and bring in some of his reserves.
True enough. Still got a few guys on the bench that haven't seen some run. Brian Rouse, Theon Reefer. Ashton Kahn.
No, hasn't seen any minutes in this series. Watson was able to get the offensive foul call on Session. Session looked like he was used that offhand to get some space on Watson. It's actually called on Lufal. It's called on the moving screen.
All right.
Session was in a heated conversation with the officials, so you might have thought it was on him. Brown, baseline. Brown, tough shot though. Good defensive play to stay in front. It was Lufal.
What a pass.
And once again, the hustle. And we mentioned it, you in particular mentioned it in the first quarter, how the Island Storm in game number 1 were able to get after and get to those 50-50 balls, and that was part of the storyline. This afternoon, a different story.
Yep.
The Hurricanes just looked like they wanted it more. There was an assertive effort to get after those 50-50 balls and come up with those loose balls and just be a little bit more aggressive trying to extend possessions.
Yeah, and you know, Halifax, it might be a case of Halifax, they've got the deeper bench. They're not as tired. Now, you know, mind you, it's a Thursday, between Thursday and Sunday, you got a couple days rest, but got guys banged up. Chris Johnson's not in the game, so that may be an effect, right? You can only, with a shortened bench, you can only play that kind of intense basketball that the Island Storm played in game 1 for so long. And here we go. Here comes Theon Reefer.
And Wynn checking into the game for the Storm. We kind of forgotten both Wynn down the end of that Storm bench.
Yes, we did, yeah.
He's seeing his first minutes in game number 2 here.
From Oakland, California is Rashawn Wynn.
I just want to say thank you to the many fans around the world watching this game number 2 between the Hurricanes and the Storm. As it's always a pleasure to do these games.
Certainly.
And that's a tough shot that won't go down for Ose, and that's been the type of afternoon for him. Poole. Closely guarded by Burdine. Double team coming. Mason now. Canes not in any hurry. Minute 33 remaining in regulation. 8 seconds on the shot clock as Theon finally gets in, and Brown will go to the bench. And Romel Brown has played an outstanding game, and you mentioned that at the top of the broadcast that Romel Brown was also one of the storylines, and he had to have a strong game.
Yep.
And he put in some pretty good work. 5 for 10 from the field, 11 points and 7 rebounds. That's outstanding for Ramel Brown.
Yeah, and the things that don't show up on that stat sheet are the defense he played and the shots that he interfered with or that he changed up. It doesn't show as a block, but he alters it. There's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Great rim protection this afternoon, as he made it tough on the bigs, in particular Carl Hall. He made it at times, it was frustration for Carl Hall. Hall 4 for 11 from the field, not the same night he had in game number 1, but he was still efficient from the free throw line with 8 for 12 from the charity stripe with 9 rebounds and 16 points.
Yeah, he had another good game.
Ashton Kahn looking to check into the game for the first time and checking into the series for the first time is Kahn with a minute 03 remaining. Looks like it will be for Clinkscales. He was able to get these two to go down. Get the second one to go down for sure. Is that first one rims out. 24-point lead and pretty much in the books here.
Yep.
Look that way around the 9-minute mark of this fourth quarter.
Yeah, Halifax, they went on a run. They got the momentum. They haven't looked back.
As Kahn will check in, and the captain, he leaves the game as the Scotiabank faithful gives him a good round of applause.
Rightly so. He played a great game, the kind of game that we're used to seeing from him. Double digits in assists.
He definitely righted the ship in game number 2.
Yep.
Had his struggles in game 1. Anderson finishes with the right hand. Kahn now will just hold it here. They'll use all of this shot clock before taking the attempt. Poole though.
Oh, what a pass.
Mason, and Wynn just fell asleep at the wheel on the baseline. Mason was able to get back door and finish off the glass. OC finally knocks down a 3.
We've been waiting for that from him.
1 for 6. 5 for 17 from the field is OC on the afternoon. He finishes the night with 11. Poole will just hold this one out, a difference of 3 seconds on the game and shot clock. Poole almost gets that one to go, even though he wasn't trying to put it in. And that'll do it. We're on even terms. The Atlantic Division champions in the regular season rebound in game number 2, Matt.
Yeah, and they played the game that they had to play. And, as I said, Storm came into this one with a bit of chip on the shoulder. Halifax didn't just have to win this one, but it was important that they won it big, that they won it, decisively going on to the road.
And Antoine Mason led the way. 9 for 16 from the field, 5 for 9 from downtown with 26 points and 6 rebounds. But I need to point out the one player that had to have a huge night and showed up in game number 2, and that was number 23, Billy White.
Yep, he just about had a double-double, 18 points, 8 assists, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He was filling the stat sheet, and he was all over the court. That's what they need from him if they want to win this series. So
this series will shift to the Eastlink Center on Thursday night for game number 3. And if game number 4 will also go at the Eastlink Center on Saturday night. So the final here at Scotiabank Center, 107-85, the Halifax Hurricanes get back on even terms. For my broadcast partner, Matt Elliott, and the entire Silver Vision crew, I'm Vince Williams saying so long from Halifax. We'll see you in game number 3.